know, 1 in a million makes it. I went, now I'm going to be that one. Gladiator. Entertain the crowd and win them over. Some of the stuff I didn't know I did it. The World Cup 1990, I just played with a smile on my face. One of the best players in the world. If I hadn't have took him, that's when I pick up a drink to cheer myself up. If I hadn't have took him. If anybody I let down was myself, I hadn't have took him. Things I've put myself through, I'm lucky to still be sitting here, I think. I hadn't have took him. He had his head on my lap. 12 years of age, picking a dead body out of the coffin and kissing, cuddling him, saying sorry, then putting him back down. And then I stayed in that room for a few days. Oof. It's always, if I hadn't have took him.
When you sit now and reflect on your career, there's obviously two ways you can look at it. You can either go, you know, there was some times where you fell off the rails a bit, you had your struggles, you had your sort of personal problems, or you can look at it and go, I played for England, played for the club I supported as a boy. Most expensive signing going off to Italy.
It was the most expensive going from Newcastle to Tottenham, most expensive going from Tottenham to Lazio, most expensive going from Lazio to Rangers, most from Rangers to Bournemouth. So everywhere I went, it was the most expensive, you know.
So when you're lying in bed at night, are you thinking, could have done a bit more? Or are you thinking, bloody hell, what a career I had. Like, look at the things I did, the things I achieved.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I used to say to the guys, I used to wind the guys up, look at lads on the pitch today, if you're tired, just give us the ball and I'll keep a hold of it for 5 minutes. Something like that, fuck off, Gazza. Or I'll say, look, can someone do well today? Because I'm sick of getting man of the match and having to go upstairs after the game and get pestered. So I used to wind them up like that. But yeah, I think, you know, I don't think I let any managers down or the players or the fans, you know. If anybody I let down was myself, like, you know. But, you know, the drinking side of it was more like when I finished playing. If I'm having a good day, you know, I really make the most of it. I really do. And if I'm having a bad day, I just say, right, just get through it. Tomorrow won't be as bad, hopefully, you know.
How often is it a good day? How often is it a bad day?
If I want to make it a bad day, I'll go to the pub, you know. If I want to make it a good day, I'll get a fly rod out, fly fishing, I'll do some other stuff, you know, tennis and all that. So when the weather's nice, there's lots I can do, like, you know. And
we were just asking each other, like, do the locals know that Gazza's living on this street?
Oh yeah, straight away. And when I first arrived Bournemouth, because only, you know, Bournemouth is like, it's not really, I wouldn't say such a footballing town. So when I first arrived, I was getting stopped at weekends were a nightmare. If Bournemouth played at home, like, it would play like Man United, so the town would be full of like Man United fans. And
is that hard for you? Because I imagine everyone wants to buy Gazza a drink, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Which is good.
Is it good?
Yeah, it saves me money. No, you can't. I've had that all my life, you know. It's not the drink as such, it's the consequences. You know, it's afterwards. It's like,
well, what do you mean by that?
You know, so I know if I'm in trouble and I look at my mobile and if I've got like 30 messages and 30 missed calls, I know I'm in trouble. I think, oh shit. But I've been all right. Last year it wasn't brilliant. I was off and on all, you know, I did like a couple of months and then like a 3-4 days at Pender. Yeah. I'm better without it. I went to a meeting the other night as well, so that was all right.
To what?
Just a year meeting. I went with a friend. That was okay.
How often do you go to them?
I used to go all the time, like, but I haven't been for one for ages. I just thought I'd maybe start going to a few, like, you know. But they're all right, they're harmless, you know. You get something every, get a little buzz, like, you know.
How old are you now?
Maybe 56, but I'll get some Botox this week again.
Yeah, you don't need Botox.
I know, because I've already had it. So.
Let's go back then, I don't know, 48, 50 years, you're like 6, 7, 8 years old, you're kicking a ball around up in Newcastle. I would love to know when you first realised you played football different.
When I was 7, I knew then I was good. And then when I was 12, there was a penalty competition. I won that out of 360 odd kids. When I was 14, Newcastle knocked on the door, and because Mum and Dad had worked so hard to make money for us and that, I was 14. And I don't know why, but I says, Mum and Dad, that's it. I says, when I'm 16, used to, I'm not going to have to work ever again. I'll look after you. I'm going to be one of the best players in the world. I don't know what they were thinking. But then I went to school and I was 14.
Hold on, you said that to them?
Yeah, when I'm 16, you're not going to have to work ever again in your life. So I went to school, I was 14, they were doing geography, main geography, God almighty. So I've got a pen and I'm just signing Paul Gascoigne, Paul Gascoigne, Paul Gascoigne. And I went, hey, you, what are you doing? So I'm signing my autograph, sir. I said, what for? I said, I'm going to be a professional footballer. He went, do you know 1 in a million makes it? I went, no, I'm going to be that one. And he went, yeah, and he kicked us out of the class. But I took my autographs with us. And what was funny is, like, after the World Cup 1990, you know what I did? When I got back from Italy, I went straight to that school. And I know what classroom we worked in. There was a little window in this window, and I looked through it, and I tapped on it, and if I can remember me, he went, oh, I know. So I just went to the classroom. I went, never say that to any of these kids. Well, the school erupted, because I just got back from the World Cup. The school erupted, words got round, everyone just ran out of the classrooms, mayhem, and then I left the school. And the next day I went back again, caused more trouble. And then eventually the headmaster said, I had to pull us in. She said, Gazza, please stop coming in.
So how did you know that you were going to be the 1 in a million?
I don't know, I just was doing things. Some of the stuff I didn't know I did it. And I'd have to say, maybe watch the replays or something and say, how did I do that?
So you weren't consciously thinking what you were going to do with the football?
I just knew able straight away. It's like when I speak to Ronnie Sullivan at the snooker place, he says, when he's playing snooker, he's actually thinking like 6 shots ahead of him. He's 6 shot, not the one there. And I was the same when I played football. I always thought I knew 3 seconds before the ball arrived exactly where the players were, you know. But then I'd do the other side where whoever was more nervous, I'd talk them to bits. Roy Keane was the best when they said he was going to be the new kid on the block, and I said, new kid, and I just taught him all through the game, and he Gazza, please shut up. Like I'd say, I'm married, I'm taking your wife out tonight. I'm not married, you are. She's in the stands looking, and he'd look up and like, Gazza, stop it.
Why were you doing that?
I don't know, I just love playing football and
But were you doing
entertaining
that
people.
as a young kid, playing for the boys' clubs? Like, were you talking to opponents?
Yeah, non-stop,
Well,
non-stop, yeah. I remember I played against Robbie Savage, and he was having a go at us, and I just started talking to him and around him, and he played midfield. The second half, when we come out, Robbie went to right back. And I looked at him, I said, come on, Marcus. He went, no, you talk too much. He said, just talk to us, so I just laughed. Even in the dressing room for games, I never got worried. I just knew how good I was, and all I had to do was just get on the ball.
But when you was a kid, though, I'm really interested in that, because we get lots of like young kids listening to this that want to go on achieve even a fraction of what
Well,
you
at
did.
14 and I had like Southampton, Ipswich, Newcastle, Middlesbrough, Burnley. So I had all them knocking on the doors, like wanting to sign for them. You know, but I was always wanting Newcastle.
And what did your mum and dad, like, did they support you?
But at the time they had been arguing, Mum and Dad. I was in the Newcastle office to sign the contract, 16. And my mum sitting one end of the table, my dad sitting the other. And he says, so I've signed the contract. And the secretary who it was says, you have to get a member of one of your family to sign this. And I went, I'll do it, my mum. No, I'm his dad, I'll sign it. The two of them were around. I said, just both of them sign it, please. Yeah, I laughed about that with them. Yeah, I just played with a smile on my face. My first 3 games, like, when I was like 17 and a bit, I was Man United, I got man of the match. Liverpool got man of the match. And Tottenham man of the match, I scored 2. That was like my first 2 games. And I remember going to my dad. I said, Dad, when are you going to come watch us play? He went, you haven't made it yet, son. I'm thinking, what have I got to do?
So you never came to your debut?
No, I never come to them. He used to say, get buckled in. But when I started at Newcastle, when I was playing for the first team, obviously couldn't, I used to get on the bus, or like whatever suit I could put on, and I'd pay 10 pence, and I'd be sitting with the fans. They wouldn't know I would be playing. I'm like, I'm playing for all these shortly. So I get off the bus and walk up with the fans, and I'll go into the dressing room, play the game, and then after the game, go back to the bus stop, pay me 10 pence, and go back home. I was on 25 quid a week. I can imagine playing against Liverpool, man, you're on 25 quid a week. And then my mum was on 30 quid. I found out, Mum, how are you getting 30 quid? And I get 25. I'm the one that's playing the football. I give you meals, what, beans on toast? Says God almighty, but because my diet was like a bottle of Coca-Cola, fish and chips, and like a pack of minstrels. That was my diet at night. And then at 11 o'clock at night, I used to listen to that Fame, Who's Going to Live Forever Now. And I just put the bin bags on and go run 11 o'clock at night.
Did you? Sweating it out?
Yeah,
That's
just
old school,
getting fitter and fitter.
And that's one thing about you that I think people don't realise, the hard work. Because you know that idea of Gazza's a joker, Gazza likes a drink, Gazza loves a party. You can't have the career you had and played for the clubs you played for.
Yeah, exactly.
Without the graft, the hard work.
Yeah, but at 11 o'clock at night when no one was about, I just put the plastic bag on and just, right, I'll see you later, Dad. Mum and Dad just run right all around Gateshead.
Did it ever bother you that the opinion was you were a joker, but you were so much more than that?
No, just because I knew I knew how good I was, you know. So there wasn't really a problem. I could laugh and joke, you know, because I loved football, you know. And you know, when you're getting your name shouted by the crowd and they're loving you and singing your name, you know, it's a great feeling. So I always wanted to say, oh, I watched that movie. I watched it a couple of times in a row. Gladiator, entertain the crowd and win them over. And I always thought of that, you know. I did get a few Balkans off the man and just stop messing about, but that's okay.
I think it's important for us though to tell the full story to the people that are watching this. And I look at that time when you emerged into the Newcastle first team, and like that is the dream for so many young people, and your life was just on the up at that point.
Yeah,
right?
It was flying.
But actually, a few years before, you'd been involved in a really big tragedy.
Yeah.
And I just wonder how that tragic moment that cost the life of a young friend of yours, combined with your explosion after that, was probably hard for you internally.
Well, it was a bit of a nightmare because I started getting, after that happened and I ran down, he died, and had his head on my lap.
So what happened?
Keith was my best mate, and we used to go to the Reggie Boys Club, and his brother was 10, and his brother wanted to go, and he says, she went, take Stephen with you.
Who did? His mum?
His mum, take Stephen with you, and Keith went, no, I don't want to be, didn't want to be with, you know, brothers fighting now. So he went, I'm not going, and if he's going, so I went, I'll take you. I was only about 10 minutes walking up the road, and went to the shop, and there was an ice cream van outside the shop, and I says, come on quick, we're going to be late. So he ran ahead of us. It was only 1 yard, and when he went past that ice cream van, the car hit him, taxi driver. He went about 30 yards, wow, and I was like, woof. And then he sat in the car, the taxi driver, so I ran down, and Stephen, and I was talking to him, and he had his head on my lap, and his lips moving. I thought, oh, he's going to be all right, but it wasn't. That was his last movement. So I was stuck there with his head there for 20 minutes. Then I went to see him when he passed away in the coffin and that. And all of a sudden, for some reason, I started ending up with like tics, like making noise all the time. Or I did like squeeze my eyes all the time. I bite my lip and that non-stop for years. I couldn't get rid of them. And I went to see somebody. And then eventually, I had to talk about it. Eventually, when I went to see someone, I just talked about it as if Stephen was there, and I was just like talking to him in an empty chair, and that I helped us a hell of a lot, and all of a sudden the tics went away, like, you know.
So what did you say to Stephen?
Well, when an empty chair, I'm really sorry what happened, you know, I shouldn't have told you to run, and then, you know, things wish it had been me, but, you know, things happen you couldn't even say things for a reason, but it was like, you know, I'm really sorry and I miss you. And I was just talking, and I just broke down crying, which I hadn't really cried over, to be fair. And then I just started crying my eyes out for a while. And then I got through it, like, you know.
Did you blame yourself?
I did at first. Yeah, I went, oh my God, if I hadn't have took him. It's always, if I hadn't have took him, you know.
And what did, like, the adults say, like Stephen's mum or
your
mum and dad?
I was really close to them, like, you know. I was really close to them. Nothing really, they just tried to, like, I went round there and stayed around the house, and then Stephen was upstairs in his coffin in the house, and then Keith said, come on, let's go and see him. So I was like, oof. And I went up and he says, pick him out. So obviously, like 12 years of age, picking a dead body out of the coffin and kissing, cuddling him, saying sorry, and then putting him back down. And then I stayed in that room for a few days, oof. So like, it was a few sleepless nights.
Yeah.
It was horrific, like, you know, but...
And when you look back on that now, Paul, like, do you think that helped you?
I just say how easy it is for someone just to pass away, like, you know. And like the things I've put myself through, I'm lucky to still be sitting here, I think.
I just want to take you back to this period where your career is starting to fly. I just wonder whether it was difficult after what you'd gone through with the young boy for you to then be getting all this success, whether that was a hard thing for you to sort of...
No, really, because I thought I dealt with that, like, you know. It was only like when I actually started playing professional at 16 Newcastle, a lot of that just went out the way, like, you know. I stopped thinking about it. I was just concentrating on the football, you know. Newcastle thing, 4-year contract. In my head, I'm thinking, wow, I'm getting 25 quid a week for 4 years. That's good, at least I'm getting some money coming in. Because normally you negotiate your contract. So this is Gazza wants to leave Newcastle because they got rid of Peter Beattie and Chris Wall or whatever. And Jack Charlton, he says, right then, Gaz, I've done your contract for you. I went, you have? Because I love Jack Charlton. And he went, I've done your contract. What do you mean you've done my contract? Well, you sign it. You sign the 4-year contract. I said, I don't want to sign 4-year. I want to sign 2-year. He went, no, you signed the 4-year contract and I'm giving you $240 a week. And I went, it's not bad, $240, but $120 a week. I said, what about the other 120? He says, every time you play, I'll give you the other 120. He was the man that gives me debut. And it was so funny because it was like, I used to sit next to him on the bench. He says, you're going on shortly. And it was like 5 minutes for half time. He says, I'm putting you on at half time. I went, okay. So I was getting excited. And the fans started shouting, Charlton out, Charlton out. He went, Gazza, can you hear that? I went, yeah. He went, I don't need that. Tapped us on the thing. See you later, have a good career.
Honestly?
And walked out. That was it.
Told you he was quitting before anyone else knew?
Yeah, and at half time when the dressing room, the players, where's the gaffer?
Wow.
And when he's left, he's not coming back.
There's a stat I keep coming back to. Postcode lottery players have collectively raised over £1.7 billion for charities and good causes. Now, that's kind of a number that's hard to grasp, right? You can't really picture 1.7 billion, but you can picture a breakfast club, making sure that kids start their day ready to learn, a mental health service being there for someone when they need it most, or a youth programme building confidence in the next generation. That's what 1.7 billion really is. It's not just a number. It's thousands of moments where someone got the help they needed because of funding raised by postcode lottery players. It's consistent, it's long-term, and it's all driven by players. Together, you are creating real impact. So if you want to see more about how this funding is making a difference in communities, click the link in the description to learn more about powering hope together. Postcode Lottery manages lotteries for 20 charities. A minimum of 30% of each ticket price goes to charity. 18 plus, conditions apply, not available in Northern Ireland. This is a paid advertisement by BetterHelp. We have raised men to keep things in, to not complain, to not show weakness, to just get on with it. And suddenly we're asking men to open up, but no one's ever taught them how. And what happens then? Well, it builds stress, it builds pressure, it creates anxiety, and it comes out in ways that we don't want it to. 60% of UK men signing up for BetterHelp online therapy cite anxiety as the reason. 60%. That is why I know therapy matters. Not because something's wrong with you, but because it just gives you the space to actually put words to what's happening in your head. And for a lot of men, me included, when I first went to therapy, it was the first time I'd ever been able to do that. And that's why I'm so proud to be working with BetterHelp to kick off an initiative that I am personally very excited about. We want to encourage men to say it louder and get comfortable opening up. Society taught you not to, and now society asks you to do it. So it's time we learn to lean on each other, to open up and measurably change the future of men's mental health. This is about taking that first step in a way that fits into your life. So when life feels overwhelming, I know therapy can help. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/performance. That's better, HELP.com/performance. And stay tuned for the next 3 months as we talk more about Say It Louder. Why did you leave? I was amazed because I like...
Well, it's Peter Beads and
from
Chris...
Newcastle Boyhood Club.
Yeah, well, it's Peter Beadsy and Chris Waddle, and you want to play with the best, and they were quality, So then it was like all was finishing the bottom three and that, So I just... When you're playing against Man United, but even though I got man of the match, or like Liverpool, they were the first club that come in for us. So I went, Dad, Kenny Dalglish. He went, good lad. So I told to Kenny Dalglish. For half an hour, they put the phone down. And my dad went, what did you say, son? I went, Dad, I did not understand a fucking word he said. He went, you're an idiot. More than that. He said, more than that. I went, what am I going to do? He went, you fucked that up, haven't you now? So the next call was Alex Ferguson.
Why didn't you go to United?
So Tottenham rang up and I said, Dad, it's Tottenham. He went, time to fuck off. You're saying for Man United. My dad said I'm going to sign for Man United. He went, well, tell your dad, if you're saying for Tottenham, and give him 120 grand. Oh, hold on. Dad, if I sign for Tottenham, I'm going to give you 120 grand. He went, what the fuck are you waiting for then, son? So he said, what the fuck are you waiting for? I went, okay. But the next season when I signed for Tottenham, that's when Alex Ferguson brought on Becks, Scholes, Butt, Neville's, Giggs, brought all them through, But at that time, they had Neil Webb and Brian Robson in the midfield, so I'm thinking, but I got to play with Brian in the World Cup when Neil Webb got injured. So I thought, where am I going to play? But when I went to leave Lazio, it was so funny. I thought, right, I'm going to leave Lazio. And there was Chelsea, Leeds, Aston Villa, and Rangers in for us. So I thought, I wonder if Sir Alex will take us. So I ring Brian Robson up. And Robert, I'm leaving Lazio. Do you think Fergie will be interested in it? He went, I don't know, have a word with him. He's with us now. I honestly shit myself. I went, I froze. I went, hello. He went, what do you want? And I went, oh, God. I went, look, I'm leaving Lazio. Do you want to sign it? And he waited for a bit. He went, look, okay. Then he says, I've got Cantona. If he leaves, I'll sign you. If he stays, then obviously you play in his sort of position. Cantona stayed. And I was quite like, okay. But it was funny because I said, I'm not signing for Chelsea, not signing for Villa. And when they said Rangers, I went, no, crap. And I was walking out Dino's off door. And he went, Glasgow Rangers. And I stopped. And I turned around and went, oh, I thought you said Queen's Park. I thought you meant Queen's Park Rangers. Yeah, get him over, yeah.
So do you regret not signing for Man United when you went to Spurs?
Sometimes I think about it, but I had a great time at Tottenham. You know, I got to play for England. You know, I was getting man of match. We got to the cup final. Could have won the league. Yeah. You know, and I was buzzing then. Good bunch of lads, a couple of crazy ones like me. I had some good fun there. A great manager, Terry Venables, you know.
Can we go through and have a look at this memorabilia that you mentioned in the other room?
There was one time, it was brilliant. This guy comes over next to us. He says, "Guys, I've got any England shirts on you?" I said, "They're not for sale." So he wrote a check out and put it down next to us, 100 grand. No. So I rang my mum up. I says, "Mum, do us a favour. Please let me just have one shirt." He wants one of the World Cup shirts. She went, no, they're mine. Cash, I'll give you 10 grand. Just give us one shirt. You've got loads of them. And she went, okay, give me half an hour. So I went, oh, there you go, mate. So I put the check in my pocket. I've got in a taxi, went to my mum. She got the shirt. I've signed it, took it back to him, give him it. He went, cheers, Gaz. And he shot off. And I'm thinking, oh, 100 grand. And I just see this car flying into the car park. And he just went mad with this. He went, give us that check back. Look at this. It had the tag of GG Sports on. In that half an hour, my mum went to GG Sports. We got any top. And it's the wrong colour.
You nearly sold a JD Sports shirt for 100k.
Brilliant.
When we talk about Gazza in England, what springs to mind for you?
I'll be in here at home, and then Bobby Robson says, go and get me a goal. And he put me on 20 minutes ago, and I scored my first goal. That feeling was incredible. I try not to watch football because I still miss it so much.
How many coffees a day are you on?
Sometimes I can get if I get up at 6 o'clock, by 10 o'clock I've had about 6. 6? Terrible I am.
He has about 15 of these a day.
The packets of mocha. Yeah, you get a mocha, the other one's a toffee crunch one. But Katie got his birthday, Christmas present, fucking worst coffee I've ever seen in my life. So when you try them, are really nice.
What are those?
These, variety pack, like fucking dog food coffee.
Not for you?
Coffee, no, there's another one called dog shit. That's gingerbread.
No thanks.
A mince pie coffee, are you kidding me?
Is every day a battle not to drink?
No, it's easy really, you know. I just keep away from the places, you know, and just do the right things that keep me well and sober, like, you know.
Do you have alcohol in the house, or do you?
No.
No alcohol in the house, no.
She may do, but I can sniff it out, but you know. Never. I never bother really, because I've told Katie if I want to drink.
If it was here, he wouldn't be near it anyway. Like,
right.
if, you know, when he's sober, he's so sober, you know that he can go off and do his own thing and he's fine.
And have you worked out then why sometimes you just aren't sober?
No, I just, you know, I like being sober, there's no problem, like, you know, but, you know, let's say if I have a drink, I have a drink just because I want one, it's not for any reason, I don't blame anyone. I used to blame loads of people when I was drinking, it was fucking because he did that, or he did that, she did that, my family said this, Katie's little son.
You actually said to me, in Paul's book, a lot of the time he blames other people for things that went wrong, didn't you?
Yeah. So, like, because you wrote that book 20 years ago, didn't you? I was reading it, and
well, you just
I can see that mindset,
you know? Yeah, why do you have a drink for? Because such and such did anything, you know, I just...
So what changed then that made you realise?
Well, when I went on the first couple of meetings and I did sponsor, I did the 12 steps, and one of the steps, all the people that he had blamed, he had to actually go and meet them and apologise to them, so I did that.
Who did you go to meet?
Mate, got to make amends to let you know that I stole a bar of chocolate from your shop. He went, I know, we got you on CCTV, but because it's you, we just left you. I went, have you? He went, come and have a look. So I went in his office and he's put me on CCTV. He went, there you are, coming into the shop. He went, but that's okay.
You know what though, that sums up you, because I think everybody wants the best for Paul Gascoigne, don't they?
Yeah, I'm fortunate that way, you know. You know, like you, the best one, Katie rang us up, and I was crying my eyes out, but that was a few years ago. And then when the FA, what I've put myself through and other people, and like you say, jail and rehabs and took cocaine off toilet seats, that was years ago, 18 years ago or something. And then getting asked to be ambassador for my country. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I started crying, to be fair. So the first phone call I made was to Shearer. Shearer, Gazza, what do you want? Have you ever been ambassador for your country? He went, no, why? I am. Oh, you. I went, I am. He went, not possible. I was laughing. These bastards want me kicked out of Euro 96. That's all I thinking about it. So I got my jacket and that for Gascoigne ambassador, the FA and that.
You were an ambassador for your country.
Yeah.
Right? You've put more smiles on people's faces as an England player than many people. And I think in some ways it's kind of sad that you find it hard to watch football. Because you gave the sport so much and the sport gave you so much.
Now, when I look back at it, I think, whoa, it's quite frightening. You know, when I see some of the clips, I go, whoa, how did I get through that? Lazio, when I signed for them, he's like 30,000 at the airport. And I'm not expecting that, you know. Next minute, you've got like 22 bodyguards around you.
What interests me is that Bobby Robson famously called you daft as a brush when you were 22, and yet to go and be able to pick up Italian at the age of 24, 25 isn't somebody that's daft as a brush.
Yeah, I know. It was funny because Terry Van was at Lazio one year. Who's Lazio? And he went Italian. And I went, Gaffer, I can't even speak English. I mean, fucking Italian, man.
It doesn't happen by accident again. A bit like the rest of your career, there was this hard work that wasn't seen by people.
Oh, yeah, I know. The amount of work I put in, training, you know, non-stop. Like Lazio, I'd like, sometimes I'd train twice a day, but I'd like do a bit myself, then train with them, then some in the afternoon, then train again with them, and then at night time. So sometimes I train 5 times a day.
A lot of people don't take account of the fact that you've had to recover from some really difficult moments.
Said never going to play again. I come back then from the broken kneecap. Took 9 months to come back from the fibula tibia. You know that, and then I did the Strictly Come Dancing on Ice. The first show, I was 2 minutes in the ring, and I tried to do a spin, and I flipped up on my back, and I've heard a crack. I went, oh no, I broke my neck. So that opened up and put bolts in my neck. I smashed vertebrae 8 and 9. I was a half a millimetre. I haven't been in a wheelchair for life. Wow.
How much do you blame yourself for, like, the recklessness?
Daft things, yeah. The cup final, I shouldn't have been in that position when I did the challenge, when I did my ligaments. The one with Nest, I was just anger. Because I always remember Brian Robson, when I played my first game with England, he went, hey, Gaz, I'm cutting me and my career. He says, any of the challenges, leave them for me. Any of the headers, I'll take the cuts and all that. I wish I'd listened to them, like 36 operations later. I should have listened to them.
That Brian Robson example, like, when I was reading about your career, it struck me that you often seem to respond best when you had, like, strong male figures in your life.
Yeah,
whether it was Jack Charlton, Robson, Terry Venables, whether it was Dino Zoff at Lazio. Those strong male figures seem to give you a platform to go and perform at your best.
Yeah, definitely.
So what was it they did
just
then?
Respect for them, you know, that they actually come up and just felt like they cared, you know, they cared, and it was like they didn't want anything from us, they just wanted us to be happy and fucking go out and do the business, you know. Like that first time I ever met Bobby Robson, he was like fucking world class, you know, he's just come back from the World Cup or whatever, and I scored for the England B team. Coming into the dressing room, he comes straight to me. And you, fatty, he says, one day you'll get to play for my team, England, the big team. He says, when you get off them mouse balls. I just looked, laughed, okay, will do.
Recklessness, though, in football is one thing. But in your personal life, I wonder how you reflect, you know, on things like the relationship with your ex-wife and your kids and stuff like that.
I did a lot of things just off the cuff. Some I regret. I'll think of something. I thought, no, I can't do that. And then if I have a couple of drinks or whatever, I'll go and do it.
Like what?
Like just daft things, like drive a bus down London High Street with 70 passengers singing, we're all going on summer holiday. I've got 70 people singing it with us. I went, oh, I've got passengers. And I'm like thinking, fuck, you know. Rehab, I've never been for drugs, ever. And I'm probably for drink, probably 2-3 times. The others are like, I've been for Calpol. I went to rehab I couldn't get off Calpol. Red Bull.
You couldn't get off Calpol?
Because Calpol is 0.1% of alcohol. So I thought, if I have 20 bottles of it, that'd be like equivalent of a pint. So and then I got bored from every chemist in Newcastle. Don't give them Calpol. I say, listen, I've got 3 wives and 9 kids. I need Calpol. So it was mad. I went for Red Bull. I actually went once for no reason. Flew from Spain to Arizona just for a month, just to have a break. And I have everything perfect with this OCD. See.
And when did you develop that trait of OCD?
I think I was mainly after that, the incident with Steve when he was 12. After they stopped all the twitching, and all of a sudden I became very fucking wanted everything perfect. And the OCD is horrible. I had treatment over it. Like, it was horrible, that treatment. And I had to stand on every crack. Had to go around the hotel room, switching light switches off and on. He'd text us 13 times. He'd call us 13 times a day. Oh, it was the hardest thing. He just said, you just got to work on the OCD. Like, you know, try not touch things 3 times. Just do it the once. Because the people who OCD, like Beckham, can have soft drinks in the same pit as food. Steve Gerrard washes his hands 15 to 25 times a day. And it's one of these things that when I speak to people, it's like, if you don't do that ritual, I think something's going to happen bad to you.
And do you think about your legacy of what people will say about you as a man and a footballer?
Me, well, you know, when you get called national treasure, and then people still stopping you all the time for signatures or selfies. The last time it was Sainsbury's, and there was a guy coming. I was walking down the aisle, and there was a guy coming, and he's come up to us, and he started crying his eyes out, went on his knees, crying.
What's one habit that's made a real difference to you? For me, it was just changing my alarm to 15 minutes earlier in the morning. It means I can just get my head straight and really attack the day in the way that I want. I've also added to my routine drinking AG1. 1 scoop mixed with water in the morning just sets me up for the day because it contains vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced ingredients, plus good bacteria all in one go. And for me, focus is the big win. It makes such a difference. AG1 is also rigorously tested. They've updated the formula over 50 times based on the latest research, and it's informed sports certified. So even athletes take it. To try it, head to drinkag1.com/highperformance. And there's an offer right now, £59 instead of £79 for your first month, plus a free welcome kit and travel packs. And you can try it completely risk-free. If it's not for you, contact AG1 within 30 days and they will give you your money back. What's not to love? You know, becoming a parent changes how you think about so many things, including money. When you're younger, it's so much about the next opportunity, isn't it? The next project, the next adventure. But I've found that once I had kids, I'm starting to think longer term. How do I make smarter decisions? How do I help the future look a bit more secure for me and for my children? And one of the things that I've been exploring recently is how to make my money work harder in the background. Well, XTB have launched a cash ISA and stocks and shares ISA where new customers can currently earn 6% interest, which includes a 2% boost for the first 90 days. It also gives you tax-free growth, daily interest, flexible withdrawals, and no account management fees. And if you open an account and make your first deposit within 7 days, you'll receive a free stock to help you start your investment journey. If you want to find out more, go to xtb.com/en/join/high performance. Capital at risk, investment values can rise or fall. Tax treatment depends on your individual circumstances and ISA regulations, which may change. Limited free stock available. 2% ISA rate boost for 90 days. New clients only. T's and C's apply.
And his kids, 2 kids, were staring at me as if I'd had a fight with them. I went, get up, man, the kids are crying. He went, but you're my hero. And he was really crying. I went to give him a hug. And then the kids were all right after that. I'm like, wow, it's nice to see them. He said, and I say to my mates, I don't call them fans, because it's really nice of them. Because my dad, years and years and years ago, when I first made my debut against Liverpool, I went home, I got man of the match. He went, right, just remember where you come from. And since then, he says, because you never know, one day you might need these fans. And he's spot on. So for since I was 17 to even now, I don't turn down an autograph or a photo. And everyone Gazza, can you remember that goal you scored against Scotland? Mate, do you remember it? I fucking scored it, of course I remember it.
Was that your greatest goal for England?
It was the Scotland game when I said to the lads, because I remember the celebration in the FA, and I went, right guy, whoever scores, because I was playing against my own teammates, against them, 7 of them. And I got abuse in that dressing room at Rangers for months. We're going to stick it right up here. And I said, listen, you've seen what I'm like when I play for Rangers, guys, but you've not seen what I'm like when I play for England. I said to the guys going out, listen, guys, whoever scores, do the dentist chair. And obviously I scored, did the dentist chair, and then they squeezed the Lucozade. But that was a disappointment because they squeezed Lucozade and not gin. So I was a bit gutted, you know.
The summer of '96 was your summer.
Yeah.
When we interviewed Gary Lineker, he said there's not a day goes by where he doesn't think about the 1990 semi-final. I'm interested, how often do you go back and think about 96?
Well, the 1990, I didn't take a penalty as such, and, you know, I was obviously devastated getting that card, but, you know, I was more devastated because I had the best time in my life, you know. It's that such a young age with great players, but actually, training every day in the sun, enjoying myself, fantastic, you know, and it's like, wow, this is a life. And then when it come to the end, It's like, I honestly thought my career, I was only 22 and a half. I think, God, my career's over with now. I'm never going to play again. That was in my mind. Yeah. And then when I got back home, I was having a shandy with my dad. And I said, Dad, I'll see you later. And it was 10 o'clock at night, and I went up to the park on my own, where I used to play when I was 7 years of age, and started crying my eyes out. And God, this is where I've just come from here to
and why did that affect you so much?
Oh, incredible. I just couldn't wait to get back playing again, so I got the pre-season over. And that season after that, 91, I couldn't put a foot wrong. I was scoring goals for fun, scoring every game, and the FA Cup and that. I was buzzing, you know. I just couldn't. I was untouchable. You know, getting man of match all the time, and then, you know, obviously the goal, doing the dentist chair and that. I always say to Gareth Southgate, he hates it when I say it. Gareth, can I have a word with you? What? I can't understand. I scored my penalty against Germany. I go to fucking rehab. She says, you missed your penalty. You get a 30 grand pizza advert in the England manager's job. What the fuck did I do wrong? Don't tell anyone that, Gazza. I said, everyone knows. He just laughed.
I wonder, you know, when the ball comes across before the penalties.
Yeah, that's
like, do you ever,
I still think about that. I can't watch that.
You can't?
I think if that was Shearer or Lineker, they would have scored that, because their instinct is just, you know, but I'm thinking ahead. And I, honestly, when I seen it come across, I thought the keeper was going to get a touch. Now, if he got a touch of it, it would have went behind us. So I've just waited for that touch, and I would have tapped it in. If I had just kept on going forward, it's not just the thing that could have scored that. It's what goes through my mind. It's me celebration. Just a celebration. I don't know what is it.
Because it was golden goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, the golden goal, the game would have been over. God almighty.
What a story that would have been. And like, I remember, like, obviously you were, for a time, the most famous man in Britain, possibly the most famous person in Europe.
Well, I have had the Pope ring me up, the Lazio.
Go on.
St. John Paul, yeah, I was the manager, says, Dino's Hospital, Gazza, there's a call for you. I said, tell him I'm training. He said, no, there's a phone call, you got to take it. I went, tell him I'm fucking training. He says, it's important. I said, who the fuck is it then? He went, it's the Pope. I picked up the phone and I went, don't know why. I just went, hi Pope, what do you want? He went, I want to meet you. I went and looked at him, my dad's a Catholic, and they were over in Italy saying his visit, and saying, I went, Dad, we've got to go to the Vatican. So I actually went to the Vatican and gave us a couple of medals. There's pictures of my house, my dad like going like that to the Pope. I said, Dad, what are you doing there? He said, I'm asking for some money. So my mum and dad got to meet the Pope. The Pope gave me dad a little Christopher, and he loves that picture. And I got it to Katie, and I went to Katie, look at that. And she went, who's that next to your dad? It was only the Pope. Oh, bless her.
When I told friends we were going to come and meet you, it's one of the very few times that they are so interested, like, what is Paul Gascoigne like? Do you think people really understand you, or is
there's no one. You know, it's like, people know Paul Gascoigne, but Gazza, no one knows. You know, even me sometimes. You know, I remember Walter Smith gave me 3 head tests and a scan to see what was wrong with us. There's something wrong with you. So he gave us 3, especially he says, what you're doing on the pitch is not normal.
So who are we talking to right now? Are we talking to Paul Gascoigne, or are we talking to Gazza?
Serious stuff, Paul Gascoigne. If I get well over a bit, Gazza is like the funny side of it, you know.
Because I noticed that when we talk about the serious stuff, the answers are shorter, and then straight away there's a gag, and there is a joke, and there's a funny story.
That's the Gazza side of it, yeah.
That's Gazza, is it?
Yeah.
And why does Gazza need to step in?
I just have to be, because I've spent a lot of years being down, like, you know, when I did the ligaments, then the kneecap, then a broken foot, I missed 4 years of football. You know, I would have got 100 caps, so, you know, I try not to get down, because the world's already enough down, you know, and I don't like it when I'm down, and that's sometimes when I can be really down. That's when I pick up a drink to cheer myself up. But I used to be a happy drunk, you know, and I ain't anymore.
What are you like now?
I'm like a sad drunk. If I'm drunk, I go out, like, I don't go out and drink, I'll drink indoors.
And how much has humour been almost a protective defence mechanism
a lot,
for you?
Yeah. I hide myself a little bit behind humour and that. Yeah. But like when I do these venues and go on stage, don't really talk about football that much. I talk about all the crazy stuff I got up to, like, you know. And I like that because, you know, it's easy for me, like the others. I was brought up in Gateshead. I've got a brother, 2 sisters, a mum and dad. I started this. This is where I went to school. That's like some of the players, the venues. I can't do that. I've got to get straight in and get them laughing, you know.
Sure, but I also think there's something that, like, your incredible story of coming, like, growing up in Dunston.
Yeah.
And the journey you've been on. I think people want to know the human behind it rather than the character.
Yeah, well, when I come to
Gazza.
my script, I've got when I stopped playing for England, and that, then there's been a few times where I've cried on stage, and they all start singing my name and that, and then gets them up, and then, because like you miss on a Saturday, you know, like entertaining people, you know, I got such a buzz from it. I just get such a fucking buzz from it, you know, and you miss that.
Some of the best memories of my childhood, I get emotional talking about it now, some of the best memories of my childhood were made by you. And
Yeah.
so why are you carrying this sadness?
I don't know, sometimes I do, you know, it's me, I put myself in that mood, and which is stupid, because there's loads I can do, you know.
When we finish this and head off our separate ways, I know people will say to us, what sort of a bloke is Paul Gascoigne? What would you like the answer to be?
Fun-loving guy, caring. I'd do anything for a challenge, you know, I'm fearless. But then I also have the other side, you know, I can be emotional, soft, you know. Takes a lot for us to, it doesn't take a lot for us to cry sometimes. I keep a lot of stuff in, you know, some stuff I should share, and then some you get scared of sharing it with people. You think, oh God, you know, but I'm not frightened to say, like, I'm scared, you know. I ain't scared, I'm not frightened to say that, like, I'm worried. I don't think I'll ever grow up. I don't think I'll ever grow up. It's fucking, which I don't mind, like, you know. Proud of what I've give a lot of people, you know. People don't know, like, it was nearly £1 million. I don't think it was that much. But to 10 different charities. I told them, ring him, keep it quiet. Done loads of stuff like that.
So I think a lot of people that have been through what Paul's been through, you know, like your mate Jimmy selling stories to the press or people letting you down. I think a lot of people would have given up on humanity, and it feels like Paul hasn't.
No, you know, I think the time that I give in is when I'm in a wooden box. Apart from that, I'll just keep on fighting on, like, you know. As long as I wake up in the morning, I'm still alive and, you know, looking forward to the day, then I'm good, you know.
Thanks, mate.
Oh, pleasure. Cheers, guys.
Katie, you had more mentions in that interview than anyone I've
He does it
ever
all
known.
the time, and it's so embarrassing.
What is he like as a housemate?
Fucking hell.
He's fine. I would rather he's here, because then I know where he is, and I know he's okay. Yeah. So I don't mind doing that. It's when he's out and about I worry about him.
I always like trying to do 3 good deeds a day, whether it's to give a tramp a couple of cigarettes or another one of 5, or go in the shopping, which I did the other day, bought him some Greggs and all that. It's funny, this tramp, I give him £5, got him a coffee, a baked ham and cheese pasty. Come on, give me, he went, oh, Gazza, what? I wanted the chicken one. It's like, oh, you fuck, I wanted to freaking kill him.
I'm not just saying this, but every homeless person in Bournemouth knows Paul, like, not for Paul, but they know him personally, because he sits with them, like...
Why did you do that, Paul?
I don't know. The other one, I got this expensive watch, loads of pearls and diamonds on it. And I went down the pool, and I loved this watch. So it's expensive. And I'm Katie, fucking lost my watch somewhere. So you don't know what you fucking did. I want to do. There's 2 guys come up to us, says, Gazza, you got any money on you? And obviously I had a couple of drinks, and when I got low, I've just got credit cards. Yeah, go and sell that. Oh, the next day I went, oh no, what have I done?
Did you feel that in that conversation we've got to the heart of who Paul really is?
Yeah, he does keep it quite close and quite tight to his chest, and he, like you said, he always turns the story round into something funny. But I think, like, you do get honesty from him, for sure.
Yeah.
There's so many crowded judgments of Paul and other celebrities. Like, it's just awful.
Like what? Like what's the biggest myth that?
Well,
you could
like,
share
for
with us?
example, people leaving bottles of gin on his doorstep. They'll knock on his door. Like, this is generally a thing that's been that we've sued them over in the last 10 years. And people will leave these bottles. He'll open the door, and as he's picked it up, people are taking photos, and it is awful. You know, he did have his phone hacked for 15 years. Yeah. It's enough to send anyone crazy.
People think fame is really amazing, right?
It's really not.
I used to tell people, you know, honestly, it's the best feeling in the world to come from a nobody to fucking be mega famous. It's fantastic becoming famous, but you know, once it's famous, you can't go anywhere else. The only way is fucking, they whack you right down, you know.
When your phone was being hacked, like, what did that do to your relationships with, like, friends and family? Because you must have assumed that they were selling stories, I'd imagine.
Yeah, well, first of all, when it first happened, I thought it was mum and dad, because they're the only ones I spoke to, and they kept on coming out in the papers. And I didn't speak to them for 3 months. And I went badly on the drink and that. And I thought, how come mum and dad's doing this? And then eventually when the police says, look, your phone's getting hacked. And when I found out, God, You know, my mum and dad was happy, and then obviously I had to go around and apologise. My dad sectioned us for 11 days because he thought I was going nuts. And every time I made a call to my dad, I said, Dad, how are you? And then we cut off. And the next call to him would be perfect. So I've obviously got the number of my dad's and then ready to record. If I sent a text, it'd go, it'd stop, obviously, and then it wouldn't go through. So the press have looked at the text, written it all down. Next time when I resend it, it goes straight through. So they've already read that. So that's how I knew. And
Paul still deletes all his messages. Every time he gets a message, he'll delete it.
Even now?
If I send a message, I send it. Once it goes through, I delete. If I receive one, I read it and then delete.
Because you're worried about people still?
Yeah. Just them repressing that, you know.
Wow.
Man.
And you thought like there was bugs in light bulbs and all
Yeah,
sorts. It's
terrible.
Does it make you paranoid?
Oh, I'm well
100%,
paranoid. I just went 30 days in rehab and just sat in the room, paranoid a bit, afraid to do anything, afraid to eat food, wouldn't touch food in case I got spiked. Made us that bad at getting your phone out. And then on the other side of it, I've obviously took a few daft nude pictures of myself. Oh God. Yeah. I was like, fucking hell. Oh, yeah, my cock. Hold on. The fuck knows. Well, I don't know who's got pictures of me not, but I think half of Britain.
It's been really nice to meet you, honestly, mate. And you know the things that you've done in your life. I think one of the keys for me was reading what your former teammates thought of you. Like everyone that you played with talks about you improving the team dynamic, caring almost more about the team than you did about yourself. And I think that in life, that how we make people around us feel is our legacy. You made mistakes,
I'm enjoying
you're
life.
first to admit that.
I can make it even better if I want to, you know. It's just keep on working on myself really more than anything.
We're all rooting for you.
At the moment, I'm happy. Cheers. Cheers.
Top man for giving us your time.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
Katie, we can't not thank you for opening up your house to us. We really appreciate it. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you.